Hello, and welcome to Addicted Like Us, a podcast discussing all things written by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I'm your host, Haley, and today I have Julia, aka Reading Chemist Chronicles, with me to talk about Some Kind of Perfect, Book 10 in the Addicted series. Before we go too far, this is part 2 of the Some Kind of Perfect discussions, so make sure you go listen to part 1 before you jump into this part, or you'll be a little confused. A quick recap. I'm Haley, a longtime reader and lover of Krista and Becca's work. I'm also a part-time illustrator, and I had the privilege of working on the special edition covers for the Like Us series. Now, I just love to spend my time talking about all my favorite books, aka anything written by Krista and Becca. So the Addicted Like Us podcast was created so I could sit down with friends and discuss all of our thoughts. So let me reintroduce you to Julia.
I'm Julia. I'm also a longtime reader of Krista and Becca's books. I've been reading and loving their books for 10 years now. I first found Addicted to You on a Goodreads list and read all their books that were out and then continued reading all their books. And I was first kind of a silent reader and Fizzle Force Patreon participant, and then started my Bookstagram last year. So now I love chatting about all our books, and I'm happy to be here talking about my favorite fictional universe.
I love that mention of I was the same. I remember in 2019 when I met them for the very first time, I was like, hi, you probably, my name's Haley. You have no idea who I am because I'm a very silent fan, but I like all of your posts. I'm constantly paying attention on Patreon and all of that. And then I made a liar out of myself because immediately after that, I was the most vocal fan out there, commenting on every single post. You will not forget who I am.
Yeah.
But yes, so we are diving into the second part of our Some Kind of Perfect discussion. So in the last episode, we basically started Some Kind of Perfect. The really big thing that was covered in that episode was that they're really gearing up to film more of the We Are Calloway docuseries, and they have different ideas of how they want their kids, if they want their kids on the docuseries at all, if they're going to participate at all, and how the kids are going to be, how they'll be in the public eye. And that was a big discussion for the first couple of chapters, and that all of the core six have different ideas of how they want their kids seen in the public. And none of them are wrong. It is the appropriate decision for each family because each family is perceived differently in the media. So they're doing it what's best for their tiny little family units. And we also saw that Rose is pregnant with her fourth baby. And I think that was all the big highlights that we got. And that was all of 2018. So we are now in 2019. And it's still... I don't know. I love picturing the idea that in 2019, 6 years ago, some part of the world, this was actually happening. We have another iconic We Are Calloway quote. Fuck it.
That's it.
I wonder who said that. He's a man of few words, Reich Meadows. But we also have, so chapter 8 is Reich's point of view, and we are in January 2019 at the Meadows cottage. And they are prepping for Connor's 30th birthday party. They have a surprise party that they're hosting at the Meadows cottage, and Reich and Daisy are getting everything up for his surprise party. They have some fun decorations. We have the introduction of the cardboard Connor Cobalt.
Where it all starts.
Yes. It feels very full circle since we got to see Cardboard Ben last weekend. But it's really sweet because Daisy's really putting in an effort for this. I think it's mentioned later that Rose is the one that kind of organized the whole thing. That's her thing. But Daisy also really stepped up and wanted to host at their place and decorate everything and make this really special for Connor. And I think it's so sweet because we really don't see too much of the relationship between Daisy and Connor, but it's an important relationship and it's very important to her, and she hopes that Connor feels the same way about her.
Yeah, I love their friendship, I guess, and how you get to see that in this. You see some of it in this chapter and then obviously throughout the rest of the book, but
Yeah. So she wants to make sure that he enjoys this. And meanwhile, Reich is over here just like, they've got Sully sitting with them. She's like playing in her little baby bouncer or whatever. And it's so sweet seeing Reich look at her and be like, that's my baby. My God. After going through Long Way Down, like everything that Reich and Daisy had to go through to have a baby. And then like Sully wasn't there for most of it. Daisy was pregnant, and that was exciting for us that like they were gonna have a baby, but she wasn't actually present. And now it's just so sweet to see him as a dad and just be so grateful to have this little girl in his life. I love it.
Cute. Reich as a dad is just like
He is the best girl dad, and he's worried too because something happened, and he needs to tell Daisy what happened, but he's too afraid to tell her, and we don't know what it is yet, but you can see in his head he's like, just tell your wife what fucking happened yesterday. I can't. He thinks it's going to absolutely break her heart. Sweet Reich. And so we leave it there with like something bad. Like this feels like something bad. Reich is absolutely certain that this is going to break Daisy's heart. Something happened. He's keeping a secret. They're very much a couple that communicates really well. So it's kind of unusual to see Reich keeping something close to the vest. That's like not his style with Daisy. But we're interrupted because Lo comes barging into the house, and he like grabbed the mail, so he's already in a tizzy because he found a subscription to Celebrity Crush, and he's like, why the hell do you have a Celebrity Crush magazine in your mailbox? And then he immediately runs into Cardboard Connor. Daisy, it's bro, what is this even doing here? Just in case he doesn't show up, we have this version. And so I don't know. It's just I love
and
the
then
banter
Rose is
between
like
them.
then Rose
Yes.
comes in and is like, really? You're that star for time with him?
Right. And she's like, you're just jealous that I get the fake thing and the real thing. So good. So they've got like all of the babies. So Rose asks Daisy to come help her get Charlie and Beckett and like the kids into the house, which leaves Reich and Lo by themselves. And we get Lo already combing through the house because there are chips laid out, but there's no salsa. And it's not a party unless there is salsa. And this is a rule that will stick with the families for a long time.
Yes, Lowe's party rules. You need chips and salsa.
Absolutely.
Or it's a fake party. It cannot be called a party.
It's a social.
Yeah. And I love it because Reich starts like making salsa for him.
I know. He is such a good big brother. I love it. He's like, my brother's giving me shit right now. He's being like, he even says his sarcasm is so thick, but Reich's like, yeah, whatever, fine. I will make you your salsa. But while he's doing that, he finally he confesses to Lo what happened yesterday. And it's that Sully said her first word. They agreed that mama and dada were too close to like other sounding words, that they don't count those as her first word. It needs to be something else. And Daisy missed Sully saying her first word. And it's so funny because Lo's like, Reich is having trouble spitting it out. Like, Lo thinks that, like, oh my God, did you cheat on her? Like, you're making this into a really big deal, and I bet it's not that big a deal. And Reich finally confesses that, like, Sully said her first word and Daisy wasn't there. And Lo's like, that's not that big a deal. Also, was the word fuck. And Reich glares like, what does that matter? Yes,
Of
the
course
word
it
was.
was.
And I love it.
I love too that this kind of goes back to like in the last what we were talking about in the last episode where when they were meeting at Haleco and Daisy like had Sully with her because she didn't want to miss anything and Rose was like it's okay and like you're seeing that here that like Reich is nervous that like she's gonna be upset because she missed something like it's coming back like that
Right.
idea that like Daisy's like doesn't want to miss anything and now he's nervous to tell her like she missed something.
Right. Like he's very aware of how worried she is of all of them. He's going to be the one that like I know what milestones she wants to witness. This one's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really sweet that later on like we'll see Daisy's take on this bit, but I think it's very sweet how it happens. But Lo is also very supportive and like, you're overthinking this whole thing. And she's just going to be happy that she's talking at all, even if she missed it. Which I think, hopefully, with the reassurance from Rose being like, your babies will do all of these cute and silly things constantly, like a never ending fountain of cute and silly things. So if you miss one, it'll be okay. And Lo's over here assuring Reich that like, it's not the end of the world. It'll be okay. And then Reich's like, you're right. I'm going to tell her. And then rubs his eyes while he has his salsa onion fingers and messes up his eyeballs. And Lo's like, this social isn't half bad. So then the next chapter, we're still in January, but this is Lily's point of view, and she is at the Cobalt Inc. offices, because while Daisy and Reich are setting up and Rose is bringing all of her kids to the party, Lily is in charge of collecting Connor from the offices to bring him to his surprise party, and she's very nervous about being given this responsibility.
She's like, how is it always me in charge of this? Like, why is it always my responsibility?
Yes, we saw in like Fuel the Fire that she had the role of making sure that Connor didn't run away when he first woke up in the morning. You know what? She had a good track record with that birthday. So sorry, Lily, you're getting that job again. And I mean, Reich was involved in the Fuel the Fire birthday too, and you know what? I'd say Connor would probably prefer Lily over Reich in this situation again. So you're the one he wants to see. You're the perfect person for this job. But so she's at the offices, she's waiting around, she's like not totally familiar with the way things are run at Connor's offices versus like Haleco or Superheroes and Scones. They're all of their companies are run very differently. And Connor's he's in his office. He's got frosted glass. She doesn't know what that means. And all of these like individuals are working hard, not paying attention to her, except for this one guy that comes up who recognizes her. And he tells her that the reason that his windows to his office are frosted is because Connor's in a meeting and he's unavailable. So she'll just have to wait around. And we see Lily start to, one of her things is like daydreaming and spacing out a little bit. So she spaces out a little with her conversation that she had with Rose about, have you ever had sex in Connor's office because he's got like the frosted glass, and like, can you get away with that? I've never had sex with Lo at the Haleco offices. We've done it at Superheroes and Scones, but that's like a different atmosphere. And has Rose done it? Like, is it weird? And Rose is like, yes, Connor and I have had sex in his office. You're okay. But like, Lily is spacing out thinking about sex while this guy's like trying to get her attention. So she's a little, I don't want to say she's like maybe a little embarrassed, but more just like aware that she was spacing out while some guy was talking to her, and the way she spaced out was thinking about sex. But it's not a bad thing. It's just the way her brain operates.
And I love that she also is like, she said she was so proud of that like question she asked Rose, because like, yeah, she was able to like ask her that.
Yes. There was a time when she was too shy to ask about any kind of like sex question, and she got that one out for her sister. She's grown. But this guy is very insistent, like, well, Connor's gonna be super busy, don't know how long he's gonna take, come sit in my office. And she notices she's sitting, he's standing, so her brain is automatic. The way her brain works is like, she notices that he's like, his crotch is at her face level and his zipper is half undone, and he's like being very pushy about, well, come into my office, like come sit with me. And you know, there is that, he's being real sleazy is basically what's happening, because he thinks that just because Lily is a sex addict means she wants to have sex with any guy out there, and it is very much not true. And she's been so insistent about this. Like, even back in the Princesses of Philly era. I remember in Kiss the Sky, like Scott questioned it and she's like, I'm in a monogamous relationship. I don't want to have sex with anyone else but Lo. Like, I want to have sex with him a lot, but it doesn't mean that I want to have sex with everybody a lot, just with Lo. And people still don't get it. It's very annoying. But we'll blame the fact that that was Princesses of Philly. And hopefully We Are Calloway will fix all of that.
Yes.
He's like tapping her foot, trying to play footsie, and she's like, nope, that's not how my day is gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
I have instructions. So she texts Connor to be like, I'm here, please, I'm waiting for you. Let me know when you're done. And the guy still insists, like, all of these eyes won't be staring at you while you're here, and like, just come into my office. And she's like, no, I'm not going to cheat on Lauren Hale. This is not my thing. And thankfully Connor steps out and she tries to say like, oh, I could have waited for the end of your meeting. I know you were busy because this guy said you were busy. And Connor's like, no, I just frost my office at the end of the day because just so that I can get work done before I leave. I was not in a meeting. And this guy's like, well, I tried to tell her, but she just wanted to hang out with me, I guess. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know what some of these people and their thought processes of like, did you really think that you could tell Connor that Lily wanted to hang out with you and that Connor would believe you over Lily?
So stupid, because not only like just with anyone, it's like you're trying to like just lie and whatever, but also like don't you know that like he knows her so well that like he would know that you're just lying? Like you're not thinking that? No.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
I don't,
No.
the thoughts are not
And
there.
they're not. So, like, I feel what happens is Connor fires him. I mean, he's like, you are preying on Lily, and that is not the values of my company, and you need to leave. But also, I feel like some of it is like, you're just not I don't know if he actually says it, but like, I believed you were intelligent. No. He's talking about, I believed you were intelligent because he was like, what do you mean by pack your office and be out? But like, I don't think you're intelligent by trying to lie to Connor.
Yeah. I mean, he does say like one of like there's three reasons like you thought you could lie to me, like, and then like you can't take responsibility for your own actions by like saying what you did, and then also like yeah, you preyed on someone, which like the third one's obviously the worst, or like
Right.
that's like the biggest grounds for termination, but like the other two are also like you lied to your boss, like okay.
Yeah.
You lied to your
Yeah.
boss, and then like you also like yeah, like that's just not, which is not very smart. So
Yeah, no. This man Connor Cobalt is a genius. He will sniff out any lie. I don't know why you thought you would be able to get one. Do you think you're smarter than Connor? Okay. You're clearly very unintelligent if you think you can lie about what Lily was doing and that Connor would believe you over Lily. So you just don't deserve to work at Cobalt Inc. You're a very dumb person. But I love how immediate it is too.
yes.
Lily feels guilty about it, that like, oh my gosh, this guy lost his job. I was just prepared, like, please, Connor, let him leave. But Connor fires him, and he did have a decently important role. He was a project manager, and he'll need to be replaced by tomorrow. But doesn't matter. Connor has zero tolerance for that. And I love it. He will defend Lily.
And like he says, I think he says something like along the lines of like even if he didn't do this right now, that shows what he could do and would do, and like
Yes.
he would lie to me and he would treat people like that. So yeah, maybe if you didn't come, I wouldn't have fired him right now, but it would have happened.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you don't need to feel guilty about it because that's like it would have happened eventually because that's like who he is. And
Yes. I was going to say that it was fate. It was inevitable. And Connor would absolutely side-eye me and be like, no, shut up. That is not my thought process. It's my thought process, Connor. It was fate that this man was going to get fired.
yeah.
And so he says that, and Lily's like, I would applaud, but I'm too in awe. After all these years, Connor still impresses me. I can't believe he's my friend and that he's married to my sister. He seems otherworldly. If you're going to call me Superman again, don't list his mythical powers. And she goes, then you're Batman. Batman doesn't have unnatural powers. I know who Batman is. Because you're Batman. And then he like arches the brow and she's like, that's totally something Batman would do.
Yeah.
And he dressed as Batman at Comic-Con back in Thrive. He was the Batman to Rose's Catwoman. You know, I'm seeing all the pieces are clicking together.
It just makes me like think of like Lily walking up like Batman or like
yes,
like thinking of like, is that Connor?
But so he and Lily are trying to leave Cobalt Inc., but they're making a pit stop and they go down like a couple of floors to a different set of offices. And she's at first confused where they're going until they find Garrison working really hard. He's by himself and he's got like his headphones, but he's like on his own, working hard, not looking super social. Like, the way she describes it was that everyone was kind of milling about, and as soon as they saw Connor walking past, they're all, like, scurrying to their cubes to look like they were working hard. And it's very clear that Garrison was just in that state to begin with. He's not putting on some front because the boss is walking past. But as we talked about in the last episode and in Long Way Down, Garrison was hired by Connor to create a startup company. So he works for Connor. Connor is his boss. But we don't know what Garrison's idea is yet. No one knows what Garrison's idea is at this point. But he seems to be throwing all of his focus into this while Willow is in London. And we did see also in the last episode that like Garrison filled out that Tumblr questionnaire and he answered one of the questions, like relationship status. I think that's the one it was, with a broken heart symbol. So we know that things are tough for Willow and Garrison right now. So we're finally getting to see Garrison, how he's doing. And he is very much like, Connor wants him to come to the surprise party, which Lily's like, how the fuck did he figure out the surprise? God damn it.
Yes.
He wasn't supposed to know. But also Connor wanting to bring Garrison. I think this is big.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was big in Long Way Down. I think it continues to be really important to see that like Connor trusts Garrison. He wants, and not just working at his office, but to be involved in family activities. Because we saw at the very beginning of it all, Garrison like tormented the Core Six with his friends when they first moved into the gated neighborhood and did not endear himself to Rose and Connor especially. And we saw in Long Way Down that I think it was Long Way Down that at the engagement party, Connor and Rose brought Jane to Reich and Daisy's engagement party, even though Garrison was babysitting, and they didn't necessarily trust Garrison to watch Jane, even though Lily and Lo trusted him to watch Maximoff. So we let Garrison in, but we don't necessarily trust him with our family. And now we're at this point where he's working for Connor. He's being invited to Connor's birthday party, where all the kids are, like being ingratiated into very closed off family activities. Garrison gets to come to this, and I think that's really sweet. That Connor too is the one like extending that invitation. Like, nah, you've been working too hard. Like Garrison's like, I don't want to come. I'm not your friend. I am your employee. I just got to keep working. And Connor's like, nah, you've been working like 12-hour days or whatever. You barely like go home to sleep before you're back in the office. Like, come hang out with us. Come hang out with family.
Yeah, I think it does say like a lot about how he's kind of like coming into their whole family and like the Core Six and really being like I don't know the word, but like coming into that, because now that like I think it's harder for like Connor to like it takes more for like Connor to like bring him in than like
yes.
like Lily was a lot more like accepting and like other people, so like you see that like he's really like getting into that now.
Yeah, he's reaching all of them. Like I do feel like it was easier for Lily, and Lo sees a lot of himself in Garrison. So it was a lot easier for them to connect to Garrison versus Connor, who would never act the way that Garrison would. And he doesn't necessarily relate to Garrison's actions, but even still, he's like extended so much grace and compassion to him in Connor's way to bring him into the family.
Yeah.
I love it. And Connor he calls him his friend, that like, you're my boss, not my friend. I'm both. And most people would be on their knees to be my friend. This just illustrates your lack of judgment. Doesn't even matter that Garrison's giving pushback. Connor's like, whatever, you're my friend. You're coming. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go. But Connor insults Garrison. So as they're like walking past, Garrison tells Lily, like, you were my favorite boss. And Lily's like, I know he was just saying that because Connor insulted him, but I'm going to take the win anyway.
Yeah, just like I won that over Connor. Like, favorite boss, I'm better. That's a win.
Yes. So they all go back to Reich and Daisy's, and Lily's on the phone, and she's like whispering into it, Rose, I can see you in the window. You're not being very sneaky about this. And we get a little bit more of the Connor acting superhuman. Like, maybe he's not Batman. Maybe he is Superman. And she's like, I think I'm going to have to see that you're like not wearing the Superman suit under. You're going to need to prove it to me. I'm going to need to see this. And Connor starts tripping. She's like, never mind. No. I'm good. I believe you.
Like, I believe you. I believe you.
So then he walks in to the house, and everyone shouts surprise, and it's all of the kids in front, and Daisy helping Sully, and they're throwing confetti to surprise Connor. And one of my favorite lines is, note to self, the hot temper triad does not throw confetti at parties. Rose, Lo, and Reich are nowhere near the little bits of paper.
I love that.
I just picture them looking so grumpy watching all of the confetti everywhere.
Like, Daisy's like over there with the kids, like helping them throw, and then they're just like standing there. It's like, okay, no.
Very stoic.
They are not participating in the confetti throwing.
Not at all. But it's so cute because Jane's like, happy birthday, Daddy. I think this is like, Jane was obviously born for his birthday in Fuel the Fire, but she was still very, very little at that point. So I think it's really sweet to see like Jane has this concept of what a birthday is, and that it's her dad's birthday that they're celebrating, and she's so happy to celebrate him. I think he's smiling at the kids that are celebrating him. I think it's so cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Lily follows in behind, and she too runs into Cardboard Connor and like collapses. She falls down. She's like, Connor's face is right in my face, but like not real Connor, but still Connor right in my face. She's like, abort, instinct and panic overtake me.
You're like, I did not lie on top of Connor Cobalt.
No. It's okay, Lily. It is Cardboard Connor. He is not the real thing. But I also love that it's that thing came out of no. It's another instance of, we're not calling it what it is. We're going to call it the thing.
Yeah.
The dildo that was thrown at her in the beginning, that was the thing. Connor is now being called the thing. But it's very cute because Lo picks her up and he was like, guess what, Lily? I did the same thing. I did the same thing, or that thing came out of nowhere. I was doomed from the start. I did the same thing. So it looks like I was doomed with you from the very start. From the very start, Lily Hale. And he picks her up and into that front piggyback. And, you know, that she's very happy to see Lo, but she grinds on him a little and he stiffens because they're obviously like surrounded by their family. They're kind of in public and, you know, she's feeling aroused, but it's not bad that like this is a moment of her recovery where she will feel aroused around him, and it won't be like the most convenient time for her to feel that, but he just reassures her and she shifts to his back and they move on, and Maximoff is still totally fine. He's like off making confetti angels. So cute.
I love that him and Jane's like doing confetti angels, like living their best life over there.
Yes, but it's okay that she feels this way. It's not like a regression. She knew how to, both she and Lo recognized the signs and knew how to handle the situation. And, you know, she just gets on his back and it's a less dangerous position for them. And then we see Connor examining the cardboard version of himself, and she's like, he loves it. Nah, he seems ambivalent. Queen Rose looks ready to call this birthday a failure.
They're like, who bought it? I love that Daisy found it on like a celebrity site.
She is that because she was also the one that found the underwear on the celebrity
Yes.
sites too. She's, you know what? She's like, they're making merch off of our stuff. I kind of want some of this. I think it's
Like,
cute
why not make
merch.
it?
Yeah. And Connor's like, so my birthday present is you admitting you're my biggest fan. But it's very sweet that here's where Connor says, like, I never thought I'd appreciate this day more than any other, but I do. I am. And he thanks all of them. But Lily sticks up and she's like, it was mostly Rose and Daisy that, like, Rose organized a lot, but Daisy put a lot into helping this. And it's so sweet that, like, Connor acknowledges that and Daisy gets that little bit, like, obviously he's not going to be overly emotional, but she still got the acknowledgement and appreciation that she was looking for, that she was hoping for. And it's very Connor Cobalt, a very Cobalt style birthday where they've got like his favorite food from his favorite restaurant and they're going to read passages from all of his favorite books. I love it. I just imagine, like, if that were my birthday party, like everyone would just be reading passages from all of these books.
Yes.
It'd be fine.
I love that too. Lily was like, she like went over her like passage to like practice it and was like, yeah, I didn't totally understand it, but like I also didn't want to switch with like I think it was what like Reich and Lowe or like two of Connor and I don't or Rose. I don't know. Two of them had like
Lowe and Daisy.
offered to. Yeah, they had offered to like switch with her, but she was like, I didn't want to have to relearn it, and then like maybe that would be even more confusing. So like just sticking with it.
Yes,
I practiced. It's good.
Yes, so this will be very meaningful for you, Connor, but I am literally just reciting words. I don't understand the context of this. Hope you get something out of it. But we see Rose say, today is about you, but you have one rule. You must contain your ego for the sake of your children. It will asphyxiate the room. And they're like snapping it. It's their Rose and Connor banter. And they're holding Charlie and Beckett. And Lo's like, even their sons are bored by this because Beckett and Charlie are falling asleep in their arms. This is just what they're used to.
I guess it's normal.
Garrison comes over and says hi to Lo, and Lily notices the Celebrity Crush magazine that Lo had, and it says that Lily's pregnant again, and it's false, but they have this like unflattering picture of her, which sucks, and she's like waiting for the day when they'll transition from Maximoff being really cute, like all of his cute little baby pictures, to like, he has a zit, he's just like us.
I also love that when like they were like Rose and Connor were bickering and Lily was like, this is love isn't boring. I feel like that's just very like ties to I think it was in like Fuel the Fire, I think, with Lily's like RCC, this is love, hashtag. Like ties back to that with her like this is love. I feel like that was just a little like nod to that in there.
Yes, that's their version of love, and it's not boring. It's just the Rose and Connor version of love. Yes.
Yeah.
So Lily sees the Celebrity Crush, but then she's mumbling to herself. That's it. She goes, I wonder if Connor's DNA is superhuman too. And he looks up from like, he's having a conversation with Rose, Reich, and Daisy across the room. She's over by Lo and Garrison, and she mutters this, and Connor like glances over at her, and she goes, I'm not making this up. His eyes looked at me. And so she whispers to Lo, do you think Connor Man, do you think Connor might be Batman or Superman? And Lo drops her.
He is so offended.
You must never speak these names in his presence. Oh my God.
Not only is she talking about DC characters, she's talking about his best friend being DC characters. Like, so offended.
Crazy offensive. I don't understand how he like even let Connor walk into Comic-Con dressed as Batman and like wanted to
Man.
be associated with him. I don't, that must have been really big of him back then. But please let me know where I can find my other wife. This one in front of me is a sellout. Lo takes this very seriously.
It's like, I'm just not an elitist.
Right. But he's like, do you think they're all made equally? Do you want to talk Green Lantern? We can talk Green Lantern. She goes, he says, my best friend is not Batman or Superman. Then what is he? Connor Cobalt. He's Connor fucking Cobalt. Whatever powers he has, they're all his own.
Connor would love that. Like,
truly.
Hearing that, he'd be like, yes. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not another super, like, I'm all me.
I'm not some fictional superhero. I am actually, like, real life, real person with quite a few superhuman powers.
Like, Rose would be like, do not boost his ego even more. Like, come on.
No. So then Lily flips through the Celebrity Crush magazine more, and she sees that they've created a poll, which they made a poll way back when of who Lily had more chemistry with. Did she have more chemistry with Lo or Reich? And now it's a poll of which Calloway sister has the cutest baby. And it's like they're constantly trying to pit all of the, like, the core six and their families against each other. Like, dear God, stop. I absolutely hate Celebrity Crush so much. They pulled our babies by cuteness. They can't do that. And he's like, they can do whatever they want. I just wish there were some ethical limitations. And then she goes, and so Lo's like flipping through about to find out the answer. She goes, don't do that. What if Mafi's ranked the ugliest? We'll know and we'll feel bad and it'll give him a complex. She's quite an overthinker, but I am an overthinker too. So I get it, girl.
I'm like, I get it.
Yes, that's not going to happen. We have an adorable baby. So do Rose and Daisy. But she also wonders, like, how did the Celebrity Crush magazine even show up there? And it's that Reich bought Sully some PJs and forgot to uncheck the, like, subscribe me to this magazine. So he wound up with a Celebrity Crush subscription, which I wonder if they, like, I guess that's automated, but could you imagine someone like typing in like Reich Meadows at this address? Holy shit, he subscribed to a... I guess they kind of know where they live, that they have their address, but like I'd be so freaked out for a tabloid like that to have my address, like as a famous person. But Lo is going to look at this poll. And Lily is just going to be strong and she's just not going to know what the answer is. She's not going to be compulsive about it and she'll just live in ignorance. So then we get the next chapter and it's Lo and he's looking at this poll and he says, like, he does point out, like, it's a really dumb poll because they're all sisters and also Lo and Reich are brothers. So some of them, they're all going to share very similar features. They're going to look pretty similar. So it's kind of stupid to try and poll which ones are the cutest babies.
It really is a stupid poll too, because like I don't know, little kids are cute. Like, why are we voting? Also, that's so like kind of messed up. Like, why are you voting on which little kid is the cutest? Like, they're like
baby.
toddlers and babies. Like,
right?
Why are like, let alone the fact that their pictures are even in the like media, but then you're voting on who's the cutest. Like, that's just like, man, Celebrity Crush. Like, that is not.
Yeah.
That is not.
I agree with Lily.
Okay.
There should be some ethical limitations. So Lo looks at the pictures and we see one, a recent picture of Jane, who's dressed in a pale yellow tutu, zebra print sweater, and she has a sequined purse. Jane Eleanor Cobalt, daughter of Rose and Connor Cobalt, can best be described as a mini Rose Calloway. And Lo's like, so wrong. No, did you not just look at the picture of Rose or of Jane in her little tutu and her mismatched outfit? I get so defensive over this because when we posted the covers for the special edition of the Leica series and it was Tangled and Sinful, someone was like, I don't understand Jane's outfits. She looks like she's dressed like a child. That's not Rose Calloway's daughter. And I'm like, did you read these books?
Did you
where
read
it literally says that she's not, she never dresses the way Rose does.
No. Like, she has such a unique style that is not, like, roses. Like
No.
it is very like not only is it not like roses, but it's so like uniquely Jane. Like she
Yes.
just has like her very own like unique style and yeah, like
And also, I think it was an Addicted After All, where Rose was like, I mean, I'll dress her this way because she's too little, but like, I'm really excited for the day when she can pick out all of her outfits and I can see what her style and her personality is. Like, I don't want her to be a mini me. I want her to
yes.
be uniquely herself. Every time I see all of these instances of like, Jane isn't a replica of Rose, I'm over here like, did this person not read the book? Why did you come into my comments and say that? Rude.
And even in like I don't remember if it was in like the Addicted series when Jane's like a toddler, she like when she's very young, she gives her like options. Like she's like too young to like really have a style like much of a
Right.
style yet, but she's like, "Okay, do you want like this or this?" And she's like, "Oh gosh, she picked like the not like I forget
Yes,
it's
it
like the
was.
hats or something or a
Yeah,
bag. I think it's a
It was
hat.
Fuel the Fire. Yeah, yeah. She has the bag and then the ugly
Yeah.
hat with like the tassels, and she's
Yeah.
like, she already has a bad sense of taste. She went for the hat instead of like the pretty Chanel purse or whatever.
But like she's already just like letting her like pick what she wants and she's like not gonna be like, no, like that's too ugly. Like you need to choose this because that's like what I would want. It's like she wants her to develop her own like sense of
Yes.
style and like they can be different from each other because she does
Yes.
like I don't know, I feel like Rose and Connor say all the time like they're not trying to make like replicas of themselves. They want them to be like their own people.
Yes. And I love how Krista and Becca, like, there are so many characters and they are also uniquely
So
themselves.
different.
They do it
Yes.
so well.
But it
But
makes you feel
also with
like
that sense,
I always say
I was gonna say, but also with like the sense that with the kids, they still come from the same parents. Like they have some characteristics from their parents that makes it like, oh yeah, that's obviously like Rose and Connor's daughter or Rose and Connor's son, but still very uniquely themselves and not an exact replica of Rose or Connor.
yes, like you can tell they are Rose and Connor's kids, or like, you know, the Hales are Lily and Lo's kids. Like you can tell who their parents are because they're like influenced by them, right? Like that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like they're gonna be who they are because of how like who their parents are, but they're not replicas of their parents. Like
No.
they're their own individual people and they are different and like that I think is what makes the writing and character development so good is because like we feel who the characters are so like deeply because it's like they're all so different. It doesn't feel like you're reading the same character over and over again. Like they are so different and so like unique and have like their own things about them that like when you're reading them, you're like, yes, I can tell like this is who I'm reading.
Yeah. That's always been one of my favorite things. I think I mentioned it in a podcast a long, long time ago. That there are like certain authors that like they have a lot of books that I enjoy and that I've read. Like I think most especially the female characters. Um, I cannot distinguish. They all sound
Yeah.
very similar, and like you could take this one and insert her into this story, and it's still
It would be
essentially
the
the
same.
same person.
Just a
And
different like plot.
yeah, exactly. And that's not the case with these books at all in these
Mm-mm.
characters. And that's what I enjoy most about reading Chris and Becca's writing.
Yeah. Same.
But anyway, so we
Yeah.
have the
We digress.
off nice tangent there. I just needed to step on my soapbox for a hot second. But anyway, so we have Jane's picture and that little note about her, and then we have the
Like he
picture
said,
of
Jane is a
Maximoff.
goof.
Yes, yes, I just read that bit. She wore striped blue and yellow stockings and a bonnet with plastic butterflies to a ballet. Yeah, no, she's 100% not Rose. And then next up, they have the picture of Mafi, and he's in Vans, jeans, a backwards baseball cap, and a Spider-Man shirt. And it's Maximoff Hale, son of Lily and Lauren Hale, is nothing but cool. I love picturing. He sounds so cool and cute as a baby.
He does. I was like even just like reading that before you get to like the line like Maximoff son of like it's just like wow he looks cool.
He's so cool. But I'm over here like, I personally think Pharaoh Keen is one of the coolest characters. He's always one that I can never draw because he's so damn cool. And then we get this bit where like Maximoff is nothing but cool. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. The two coolest people that I can think of get together. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. No, like Farrah's one that it's even hard for me sometimes to like have like a perfect picture of because I'm just like he's just so cool and
Cannot
like
capture
that like
him.
vibe.
Yes, he is one of the most challenging characters for me to draw because he's just so effortlessly cool, and I cannot put that to my drawing very well. But you know that like everyone calls Pharaoh cool, and Maximoff probably has probably found this article somewhere and been like, look, they called me cool. I'm cooler than you.
He's like, I'm cool too.
You don't have the monopoly on this, Pharaoh. And then the last picture that they have is of Sully, and it's a blurry baby picture, and she's like partially covered by a blanket as Reich carries her. And Lo is like, my brother, he does a good job at keeping his daughter out of magazines. Bitterness drips down my throat. And it was that whole thing of like, well, Lily and Lo are just more famous than the rest of the core six, and he is more famous than Reich and Daisy, and it's a lot easier for them to keep Sully out of the media. It's just going to be way too hard for Lily and Lo to do the same, and it's not a reflection on Lo's ability to be a dad. It's just they're in different circumstances, and it's okay. And he recognizes that I will always be different from Reich Meadows. I love him way too much to resent him. The malicious bone in my body that attacked him, that screamed at him, that bit him until he bled, it's gone. Lo, I love it. And he says, self-hatred is exhausting. Oh my God, Lo, you have grown so much. You are no longer this man filled with so much hate. I love it.
And then I don't think I've ever met a person in this entire goddamn world. I don't think I've ever met a better person in this entire goddamn world than my older brother. And I'm proud that I know him and that my son will know him.
Yes, remember this.
Yes.
When we think of how Lo's idea, it'll come back, but like he has his ideal of what a dad should look like, and it's not necessarily coming from Lo's dad, not coming from Jonathan. He has other examples of what an ideal father should be, and he admires his big brother and how he's a dad, how he acts as a dad. Just something to think about. And then it says, Sullivan Minnie Meadows, daughter of Daisy and Reich Meadows, is always caught smiling. And he says, that's true. I rarely see Sully cry. But the poll results are 23% Sully, 41% Jane, and 36% Maximoff. So, I mean, it makes sense that like you can't see Sully, so obviously.
Yeah.
Her numbers are lower, but like it still sucks that you're like trying to pit these kids against each other, especially when it's mostly pitting Jane against Maximoff. These two are best friends.
Yeah.
But Lo refocuses back on the conversation that Lily and Garrison are having, and he's like, what are you guys talking about? And she's like, nothing. Don't worry about it. We're not talking about anything. And Garrison is in his sassy mood. Lo calls Lily sassy for how she's like, that's what I said. I said nothing. But Garrison is also in a sassy mood.
Yeah.
And reveals that they were talking about Justice League 2. And Lo's like, why don't you go talk about that down the street, turn right, approach a mailbox that says Abby, walk up the driveway, slam the door, goodbye.
He's like, so what? I'm petty. My name is also Lauren Hale. Like, yes, that's just fact. I am petty.
And so he says that, and he's like, acknowledges like, yeah, I'm not a nice person. I'm also mean. That was kind of a mean thing to say. And Garrison, doesn't take it very well. He's like, you want me to go home? Fine, I'll go home. Like, you don't want me around. But he then reaches for something in a cabinet, and as he's like reaching up, his shirt rides up, and Lo notices that like part of his abs are really badly bruised. And he's really concerned. He's like, what the hell, Garrison? What is that? And he doesn't think Lily saw, so he's trying to keep this like very much between just Lo is trying to keep it between him and Garrison, but he wants to know where the bruises came from. And Garrison's trying to deflect and just be like, it was lacrosse. Don't worry about it. Drop it. And Lo already has an idea that it's not lacrosse. Because I think, was it mentioned? It was mentioned in Long Way Down and in the bonus scene of Long Way Down, which actually happened in 2018 chapters. That was like the timeline of it happened in like technically last episode's timeline of Garrison has mentioned a couple of times that his brothers are pretty scary. Like Garrison's not necessarily scared of scary things because he's seen really scary things, and he alludes to that being his brothers. So Lo already has this idea of what Garrison is, of what caused the bruises. Because it's wintertime. Why is Garrison playing lacrosse in the middle of winter? And then he says, Lily senses something too, especially the way that Garrison is more comfortable with her hearing this. Maybe she thinks whatever he says, she'll tell Willow. Even though I'm her brother, the girls share more between each other. And Lily goes, oh, look, Mafi. So unsubtle, Lily. Lo's like, so obvious, so adorable.
Just like, oh, let me get out of this conversation.
Fast.
Let you guys talk.
Yes.
No,
totally
subtlety.
very casual about this, but Lo does get it out of Garrison. Like, I don't believe you that it's lacrosse. It's Christmas time. Why are you playing lacrosse right now? He calls Garrison his friend. He like offers him chips and salsa to try and, you know, not come at him so hard, to be a little more friendly, and even calls him, he's like, they're chips and salsa. If you don't like them, we can't be friends anymore. And Garrison's like, we're friends? And, the Jesus Christ, do I need to make friendship bracelets for you to believe it? Fuck you. Don't be pissy because I'm prettier. It's just a fact that you're gonna have to get used to. I thought the tall one was supposed to be the pretty. And Lo thinks it's funny that Connor gets called the tall one.
Yeah.
But then Lo is like, well, okay, so tell me about your brothers. You've got 3 of them, and it's Mitchell, Hunter, and Davis, and they're all 2 years apart, and they're all older than him. And Lo's like, well, tell me which one is the worst. And Garrison obviously understands where Lo is trying to go with this. And he still tries to downplay it, that they're messing around. They just pick on me because I'm the little brother. It's just brother. Like, all of these gaslighty things that we'll find out that his parents told him. And he's just, you know, reciting all of these things that he's heard that they don't mean to do. Like, it's not bad that they do it. It's just like brotherly things. And Lo's like, no, I have a brother, and he would never do the things that your brothers are doing to you. But he's thinking it. He also recognizes that Garrison is very much a reflection of him, and that if he were to say something like that to Garrison, that like, well, I have a brother and my brother would never do that, Garrison would be like, well, good for you. Aren't you fucking lucky?
Yeah. I think that's really like he knows how to handle this so well because he sees so much of himself in Garrison and what he's going through. Like, 'cause even like when he was first trying to like, he's like, okay, I know it wasn't lacrosse, but he was like, I hear myself speaking to Reich, like, get off my back, let me be, leave it alone. He just like he sees himself in Garrison in this conversation. So he's like he knows how to like not push him too hard, but he's like he even like said before too, he was like, I don't like poking at people to like, you know, get them to say stuff, but like I have to poke at this because he was like, I can't just like ignore what I saw and leave this be. Like I have to say something. But he knows how to do it in a way to not just push Garrison away because like he feels like he was there before and was in Garrison's position with like him and
It's
Reich.
not, yeah. Yeah, it's not necessarily the same thing because obviously
Yeah.
Garrison is, well, what I mean is Garrison's obviously not an addict, but there was a point where, like, you mentioning the fact that he doesn't like to poke, but there was a time where, like, Lo talks about, it was when Jonathan broke his sobriety and Lo was like, I cannot be his sponsor. Like, I'm not strong enough to be my dad's sponsor. I caused people to want to drink when I was in rehab. But there is some part of him that's like, I feel like is almost parallel to being a sponsor, in that he feels like he needs to poke at Garrison to figure out what's going on, that this isn't something that he can just ignore and leave be. He needs to like actually push at this for the betterment of Garrison's health. And to see that, like, that Lo is at a place where he can be strong enough to poke at someone and be a support system for them.
Yeah.
But so Lo does like examine Garrison's bruises. Like, he's got bruising on both sides, and he notes that his ribs are probably fractured. And he says, like, this has happened before. Whenever I see them, they like to play rough. Which brother? All of them. And then he says, I'm not going to let them hurt you anymore. And that gets to Garrison. I love it too. And obviously, it's very meaningful for someone to straight out say that, because we'll see in Willow and Garrison's books that, like, Garrison hasn't had someone defend him and believe him, like straight out believe him too, and also fully come to his defense and just be like, no, I believe you. This isn't going to happen anymore. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm going to take care of this. And Garrison does confess that Willow is aware of the fact that his brothers mistreat him, but he doesn't want to get her in trouble, and like he's downplayed what has happened between him and his brothers, so that Willow doesn't necessarily have the full truth.
She thought it stopped.
Yes, yeah. And then Lo says, will you stay at my place at least until Willow comes back? That's years. Willow could break up with me by then. You'd still be a part of this family. I wouldn't kick you out because of it. Gosh.
When he's like, that's years. So? Like, that doesn't matter. Like, no. You're part of this family no matter what. I love that so much.
Yes. So we saw that, like, Connor has fully accepted Garrison. Like, you're coming to our very close-knit family birthday celebration for me. And Lo, not that Lo and Connor are competing, but Lo's over here like, well, I'm gonna take it a step further, and Garrison's gonna move in with me. He's gonna be our new roommate.
I love it. And like this, like, you're not tied to like our, not just like love of you and like you being part of our family, like isn't tied to like your relationship. It's not tied to Willow. So like it, you know, he doesn't have to feel like it's like conditional. And like if something were to happen, if they break up, if even just like the fact that like Willow's not there right now, like that doesn't matter. Like he's still a part of the family. And that's just, I feel like, so important. Like the love that the like that they have. Yeah, it's so obviously won't like spoil anything, but I feel like we see that again with like the Hales, Meadows, Cole, like with the families in another book, and like just seeing that like unconditional love where it's like you're not like tied to the love we have for someone else. Like we love and accept you like into our family, like for you, like you and who you are. Like that's just yeah, I don't know. I love it.
The found family vibes are vibing real hard right now. And it's real sweet too, because he's like, Lo does notice that, one, Garrison, you look like shit, you're a little gaunt, and man, you smell like you've been spraying cologne instead of showering. And Garrison tries to defend himself, like, I have a job, and that's the only thing that keeps me from feeling like a stupid loser. Like, I have no purpose, all right? Like, I have something outside of waiting for a girl. And Lo's like, well, hear me out. I have this little kid who's a big pain in my ass because he's begging for a sibling, and I'm tired of hearing that Jane has 2 brothers. So this would really, you know, like help keep him off my back. You'd be doing me a solid here. And that's meaningful for Garrison to hear. And he starts crying and mutters, stop crying. And it's another moment of Lo being like, this guy is my mirror. I was saying those exact things. That's me. I see and hear so much of my past torment in his aching words. And he tells Garrison, like, I get it. Your brothers call you a pussy for crying. They tell you you're not a real man. Suck it up, Garrison. What are you, a little pussy? A little girl? What kind of goddamn man are you? And Garrison's like ready to fight Reich. He's like, oh my God, Reich said that to you? What? That man? And no, not necessarily the same situation, but Jonathan said that to him. But it is sweet that Lo's like, you'll be okay. You won't see it today, maybe not even tomorrow, but one day you'll wake up and you'll want to live. Are you sure? I'm goddamn sure. One day at a time. Can you do that with me? I love it that it's like, you're gonna get through this, and it's not just that like I'm pulling you away from your brothers and like providing you with like a roof over your head, and and you'll take care of it on your own. Good luck. It's no, I'm going to be there with you and make sure that you're okay and help you through all of this. You're not alone in this situation.
I also love when like Garrison, like when he was like, it wasn't right. But he was like, who? He's like, it was like my father. And then he says, like, and the scary part is, I really love that man. I always will. And it's like, oh, that's so real. And like, we've seen that. Like, we know that, like, Lo, he has a complicated relationship with Jonathan. And like, it's very different than Rex. Like, he raised him and he does love him despite the, like, how, you know, he treated him and everything. And
Yeah.
like, we also, I know it's a little bit later in this, it's like a couple pages from now, but you even see like with Garrison, he's like, even though his brothers are not nice to him at all, like he's like, be nice, not be nice to them, but like don't hurt them. Like they're still my
Yes.
brothers. Like they're my brothers.
Yes.
I don't want any harm to come to them, which is a lot nicer to them than they are to him.
Right.
But
Right.
like he has, I feel like that's kind of a little bit the same of like, he still has that for them of like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I still kind of like, they're my brothers. And like, I think like there's that complicated, yeah, it's very complicated with like family of even if like you're mistreated, like you, like they're like still have that like love for them. And
Yes.
they both have that with their family, like Lo with his dad and Garrison with his brothers, even though it's a little bit different.
Yeah. They're still very, very similar men. So then Garrison asks Lo, he left a flash drive at his parents' house, and the last time he was there, he told his brothers, like, I'm never seeing you guys again. And he left this flash drive at the house, and he needs it back. It's like got some important things on it. So Lo agrees to call one of his brothers to have them drop it off at his mailbox so that Garrison can get this flash drive back. And Lo winds up speaking with the nicer brother, is kind of how Lo, he's like, it's Mitchell that he calls, and he's like, what, is he the nicer one? And Garrison's like, well, is he nice? He never stopped my brothers from picking on me. I think that's the phrasing that he says.
He was like, he never stopped them. He could have stopped them. He never did. Does that make him nice?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I never stopped my friends from breaking in your house. I never stopped myself from pranking you.
Yeah. I think it's there it is, where he's like, will they answer the phone and miss an opportunity to pick on me? It's the nice way of saying to beat me up. I get what it's like not to be able to use these specific words that turn you into a victim, feeling like that word doesn't fit your situation just right. So again, very similar in that Lo struggled for so long to say that Jonathan verbally abused him, and Garrison's like still at those beginning phases where he can't say that his brothers physically assaulted him. It's just their brothers picking on him, but very similar. And then so we see that Mitchell agrees to drop off the flash drive, and this is essentially like Garrison fully cutting ties with his family. He says, but it's I never stopped my friends from breaking into your house. I never stopped myself from pranking you. We're all the same. We're all shit. No, this guy in front of me isn't shit, and I'll still be here when you finally believe it too.
I'm just like how like Lo and Garrison, like he just sees so much because like he thought that about himself too for so long, like Lo did, where like now he's like, okay, like I will be here for you and help you, like not.
I know I'm not shit. I know you're not shit, and I am strong enough to help you come to this realization that you can have good things in your life because you are a good person.
Yeah.
So the next chapter, January 2019, was a very eventful January. We're an hour and 20 minutes into this podcast, and we've only covered January 2019.
It was jam-packed.
It was, truly. So
nothing else for Connor's birthday.
No, of course not. He wouldn't want it any other way. So its next chapter is February 2019, and it's still Lo's POV, and he is awoken by a little body that has jumped into bed with him and Lily, and it's Maximoff. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. He's so cute. I love him. But Lo has to be like the dad and discipline him that Maximoff needs to learn to knock before he enters into rooms. He has a really bad habit of just bursting into a room. And Lo is not like, he says that he's still very sharp edged. He's not a soft man. He will never be considered a soft man, but he's still like in his gentle way guiding Maximoff through this. And Maximoff doesn't like, I think there's a bit where stop jumping, Maximoff, and go knock. My voice is cut like glass, but Moffy's dopey grin never fades, hardly frightened by me. Maximoff has just grown up with Lo being this way, and that's his normal. Like, what do you mean my dad should look any other way? No, that's the way he should look. But Lo does instruct him, like, you need to go knock, go to the door and knock properly. Karma's gonna come get you. So he does knock on the door, and Lo kind of distracts him with like, do you know what today is? It's Valentine's Day, which means that like it's a day to celebrate love. And when you get to go to school, you'll get like all of these little Valentines with candy. And does he say something about, oh yeah, teachers will make you send cards to all your classmates, even the ones you literally hate. Lo just tells it like it is. He's that parent that's like, I don't really know what the proper way to say it is, so I'm just going to be straight out and be like, yeah, this is what Valentine's is.
Yep.
But you get chocolate and candy and heart-shaped pancakes. So he tells Maximoff to go downstairs and watch his cartoons for a little bit, and then Lo will come down and help him make some pancakes. So Maximoff is very happy to go do that, but that leaves Lily and Lo in their bedroom by themselves, and Lo like peels back the covers and he sees that Lily is like fully naked, curled into a ball with her hands over her face, because this is not a good morning for her. They never want to experience Maximoff walking in on them in compromising situations, and she was unclothed. It was very much it could have gone very wrong. I don't think they were having sex. I don't know if they were awake and having sex, but at the very least they were not fully clothed, and that wouldn't have been something she'd want Maximoff to see. And it's a hard day for her. Like he says, where does she say?
She says, I don't want to do today.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lil, your time travel powers haven't kicked in yet. You gotta do today. You have to do every day. And, it's just like, it's that reminder that we saw in Addicted After All, that an addict will always be an addict. They're never going to be cured from this. And that we saw in the two chapters previous, where she climbed into Lo's arms and felt aroused. And she was able to like switch positions and it was okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that every situation where she feels aroused like I don't know the exact phrasing, but like not every moment is going to be an upward trajectory in her recovery. She's going to have her ups and downs with her addiction, and it's okay. He says like, I'm going to fuck you tonight, and she goes, I don't want it. Never mind. Yes, I do want you to fuck me, and that's okay. But she's feeling all the confusing feelings with it. And Lo tells her he's proud of her. They do a back and forth of like, you first, you first, you first, you first. You can't keep doing that. I just did, love, and I'll do it again. I stick my tongue in. Lo, asshole, angel. She goes, angels are pure. I'm more like a sex demon. Oh my god, I'm a succubus. Lily, then you're the most adorable goddamn succubus I've ever seen. And then he says, Lily smiles and crawls off the bed. She slowly searches for her clothes. She looks breakable, but as our eyes meet, I see that resilience again. Lily's very resilient.
Yeah.
So Lo goes downstairs to get started on the pancakes, and he's trying to and he notes that Garrison is downstairs with Maximoff, and that there seems to be like a turning point in Garrison, that like he's not dressing to like hide himself. He was wearing a lot of hoodies and had like the shaggy hair, and he's kind of a little more, I don't want to say clean cut, but like he seems to be making an effort more now that he lives with Lo and Lily. And Lo gets started on the pancakes, and he's like, Maximoff, hail. Or Moffy, pancakes. You want to cook or watch superheroes defeat evil? And he's like, Superheroes. That's my son.
It's like, not surprised.
No, that makes sense. That tracks. So then Lily comes down and she has this big bouquet of roses that Lo had left in the bathroom for her to find for Valentine's Day. She says, "You surprised me. You think those are from me? My heart is black, love. I don't do romance." And she goes, "Only Lauren Hale would write this. These are real. I love it." And then he's just like, guilty.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Okay.
So then Lily notes the time that it's like 8 o'clock and she's like, "Go get ready for work. I can take care of Mafi. I know that I had a harder morning, but I'm okay now. You don't." And he's like, "I took off work." She's like, "But you don't need to stick around for me. I know I had a hard morning, but like, I'll be okay. You don't need to like sit around and babysit me too." And he goes, "Lily, it's Valentine's Day. I've been planning to take off work all week." And he goes, "World's best husband." Even I think Connor Cobalt would even agree with me on this. And Lily decides that they need to have an important conversation, a serious conversation is what he says, that she wants to start limiting morning sex. And Lo's like, "Well, we'll just wake up earlier or we can lock our door." And she's like, "No, I want him to have access to us if he needs us in the night. I want him to be able to come into our room, so I don't want to lock the door." And she wants to try this, that she wants to take this step in her recovery of not needing to have morning sex, which is like really big of her. She says, like, if you want to try, we can try. I want to try. I feel like, I can't remember what book it was, but I feel like there was another instance of her being like, "I want to try and do this." Like anytime she wants to set these boundaries, Lo is always like, "All right, if you say you want to do this, then all right, we're doing this. I cannot say no to you. I don't want, like, if you want to make this big step in your recovery, then who am I to deny you that? We're going to do it, of course."
Yeah.
I feel like it's Addicted for now, maybe, or maybe it was Thrive. I can't remember. One of those. He says something similar, like where she says, "I want to try," and he's like, "All right, you say that, we're gonna do it."
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets distracted by his penis. "Lily Hale, are you staring at my cock?" Yes, I was. "You have a nice penis, even if it's in your pants." And then she has another serious thing that she wants to talk with him about. And it's that she wants to try and have another baby. She says, "I know in passing we discussed the possibility of having another," but she like means it, like plan this out, really make this happen. And she says, "Then we have to start trying and planning or else it'll never happen. We're too good at procrastinating and we cannot procrastinate on this. It's our family. And I decided to tell you today because I'd rather make this decision on my worst day than my best. I need to remember that there will be plenty of bad, shitty days, and those bad, shitty days can't derail my future, our future." Lily.
I love
That
that.
is so huge. I
Yeah.
love that.
So it easily could have been like, okay, I was planning on wanting to have this talk about, wanting to like try for another baby, but this is a bad day. Like, I need to wait for a better day. Like, this is not the day to do it. But like being like, no, like if we can do it today, like, if I can make this decision even today when it's not a good day, then like that is, rather than just being like, nope, I have to put it off because I'm just not, it's like not a good day. Like that's
Yes.
just something that like she probably wouldn't have done, a while
Yeah,
ago. Like,
absolutely. And though this whole thing of like, it's our family, I want to grow our family. And she does point out that like they have been really good at procrastination. They are maybe not necessarily the most motivated of all of the characters, but this is important to them and very important to her. And she is going to make sure that like Lo knows that she wants to try. And then Lo's like, "Lily Hale, way to be better at Valentine's Day than me." And goes, "You and me, we might not be geniuses or adventurers, but we're good together because our worst days can become our best. And because the sex is great. I've decided I'm glad I don't have time travel powers, not even to fix that time your porn played in class." Way to throw it back, Lo.
yeah.
I'd personally love time travel powers to forget that happened. The secondhand embarrassment. And Lily's over here like, "No, you were in that memory. I don't want to erase those." So big. You have grown so much, Lily Hale. I'm so proud of you. Okay, so the next chapter, it is still February 2019, and it's Connor's point of view this time. They are in Aspen, Colorado, and Jane is feeling sick. It was that Lo had a cold on the plane ride out to Colorado, and he tried to quarantine himself, but it unfortunately got Jane and it got Daisy. So we learn through text Lo accidentally is so delirious in his illness that he accidentally sends Connor a text that he meant to send to Daisy saying, didn't mean to get you sick on your 23rd. Who has worse luck, you, me, or my brother? So we learn that this is like Daisy's birthday trip that they're taking, and obviously she's sick, and Connor replies back to the text being like, I don't believe in luck, darling. Lo's too sick to even realize that Connor responded to his text. Daisy and Jane are like kind of quarantined off in a room so that like an adult can take care of Jane while she's sick, because Rose is pregnant, and she cannot get sick while she's pregnant, so she can't take care of Jane. And Connor talks about how like this is the first, like Jane's been sick before, but this is the first time that she's very cognizant of the fact that she's sick, and she expects her mom to take care of her, and Rose isn't there, so it's really hard for her to experience this without her. Like in any other situation, her mom would be right there, like ready to fight her illness, go to battle with it, and she can't right now. So Connor is reading the story of Eleanor Roosevelt, Jane's namesake. He's reading the history of Eleanor Roosevelt to Jane, and she cries that she wants mommy, but he does eventually get her to fall asleep. He notes that Daisy hasn't been in the room, and he says, like, I don't jump to irrational conclusions. Most likely Daisy is awake and downstairs. It's around 5 o'clock, so her bad sleep habits, it's very possible she's awake. And he also notes that even though he still shares Frederick as a therapist with, like, Daisy also has Frederick as a therapist, Connor has stopped trying to meddle and, like, I don't know what the right word is, but, like, try and get Frederick to reveal,
get information out of him.
Yes. Yeah. Frederick is too moral to offer information about Daisy's sessions, and as much as I care about Daisy's health, I have no real reason to pry, so he hasn't in a while. And then Connor gets all of these notifications on his phone from all of these, like, board members, investors, his publicist. They're all asking, like, how do you want to respond to this? And Connor goes to Twitter and sees that someone thinks they've found his dad, Jim Elson. And he also sees a bunch of texts from Rose being like, is she sleeping? If she needs another blanket, I have one for her. If you're deleting my texts, you'll be making a bed for yourself on the floor, Richard. And he ignores her for a second and goes into the bathroom, and that's where he sees that Daisy's actually in the bathroom, collapsed on the floor next to the toilet. She had been puking. So he, like, it's sweet to see him jump into action and take care of her. And he knows exactly how, like, he's gonna help Daisy up, make sure she's okay. Like, she didn't hit her head, like she didn't fall and hit her head on the toilet, and that's why she's on the floor. But he knows immediately that he needs to call Reich, and it's don't yell or stomp around, but Daisy is sick in the bathroom, and Reich immediately hangs up on him.
Yeah.
So Reich is obviously he knows that Reich would want to know immediately. Like, if the situations were reversed, Connor would want to know, and he respects that Reich would want to know too. And it was just that Daisy got sick in the bathroom and she fell asleep on the floor. She didn't hit her head or anything. And Reich comes in to take care, like, help clean the puke out of Daisy's hair. And Daisy starts muttering to herself that I never should have let him in my room or that house. And Reich is immediately on alert, like, who are you talking about? Daisy's still very out of it, and, like, it was during Princess of Philly. You were there. And she's looking at Connor, and, like, Connor's like, of course. That, like, Reich is just going to assume the worst, but Connor's like, relax, it's okay. Give him all of the information, Daisy. And it's that Connor interrupted Julian from trying to have sex with Daisy. And Daisy says, thank you. You knew, didn't you? Back then, you knew I didn't want to do anything with Julian, and so you interrupted us on purpose. And again, we continue to see that, like, I love seeing these bits of the characters that don't necessarily interact with each other as much. Like, I think it's, in my head, it's like Rose and Reich, Connor and Daisy, that I don't know, I just really enjoy seeing their friendships. So I think it's sweet that Connor's like, yeah, I recognized it even back then. Like, you're welcome. Daisy's obviously very appreciative of all of the ways that Connor has helped her in the past. He may have had selfish reasons, but I think he has absolutely come to care for Daisy more than just her proximity to Rose, because that was like his original intentions with everything.
I think we're getting here, like, this is years later, but you see them finally like acknowledging some of these, like, even like she says, like, he says, I knew she'd rather be anywhere but there. I waited until Julian left, and Daisy and I never spoke about the moment ever again. So, like they never really talked about it until like
Yeah.
now, like Daisy would kind of bring it up and being like, thank you. I know you kind of like realized even then that I didn't want to be there with him, and like you stepped in, and like thank you for that. And he's like, he acknowledges that, and kind of like yeah,
It's very sweet.
I noticed, you're welcome. And like they have that kind of like moment even like years later, and like you get to kind of like see it.
We get to see more of their friendship, especially because, as we've noted, that they never spoke about it. So like, we don't often get it. So I enjoy the moments when we do get it.
Yeah.
So then Connor leaves, and Rose is over here texting like, if you don't text me, I'm going to go check on Jane. And Connor's like, no, stay in the room, please. And he comes back, and she's like, you need to tell me, stop treating me like, aren't we a team, Connor? You say that we're teammates, but you treat me like I'm benched because of this. And she's talking about the fact that she's pregnant. And he does recognize, like, okay, her feelings are valid. Like, I never meant to make her feel that way, but I can see why it comes across as I'm benching her. But he's like, I'm never going to act like you're not pregnant when you are. They just need to, figure out different ways for Rose to be involved and help take care of problems when she's not physically able to be there.
I love and not to mention our other 1-year-old that already knows 40 words and chooses to say wrong more than hello, Charlie. Like, we're already getting that little,
oh yeah, we're getting that little tease. Charlie's personality. Yeah,
yes.
It's already coming through at 1 year old.
Yes.
Of course. So it's another one of those moments where I immediately thought of, again, that tweet of missionary so that we can keep arguing. So Connor, like, they're having sex right now, and Rose wants to talk about, one, the fact that Twitter thinks that they found Jim Elson, Connor's father, and like, how are we handling this situation? Like, how do you want me to handle all of this? We need to talk about it. But also, I want Sadie to come back and live with us. And Connor's like, no, she was a danger to the babies. But she's like, no, the last time I saw her at Frederick, she like flopped over. She's like so docile now. She'll be okay. And we'll teach Jane how to like properly take care of the cat, that she won't yank on her tail like she did last time. And they're having this whole conversation while they're having sex. It's just so very them. And they agree that they're gonna play a game for it. They're gonna
Scrabble.
Yeah, they're going to play Scrabble, and it's like, she'll come back in a week, or she'll come back in 2 weeks, or something like that. Yeah. So they play the game of Scrabble to decide, and Rose wins. So Sadie's coming back home where she belongs, and Connor wakes up, like, he's still awake. He goes downstairs because everyone's waking up for the morning, and he hears Reich moving around, and he notes that Reich is starting to sniffle a little bit. He's going into the fridge and trying to chug a bottle of orange juice for the vitamin C. And Connor's like, you needed that vitamin C way before you actually had a cold.
He's like, that's too late now. That's not
how science works. But the whole thing is that Reich is afraid to be sick. Like, obviously he's become sick because he's been around Lo and Daisy, and he's afraid of being sick because that means that he can't take care of Sully. The whole thing was he was taking care of Sully while Daisy was sick, but now he's feeling it too. And like before that, it's just so cute that he's sniffling and Connor's like, yeah, you're sick. And Reich is like, I'm gonna say this fucking once, and I swear if you grin, I will punch you. It sounds like a promise, but I haven't verified promises from what promises from Reich Meadows mean. Just touch my forehead and feel if I'm fucking hot. And I'm just picturing Connor like, yeah, let me see, are you sick? But it is the fact, like, he is sick, he feels warm, and Connor assures Reich that he can take care of Sully, that he and Rose are happy to take care of Sully while he is unable to, and that if the situations, he says, like, if the situations were reversed, we'd ask you, and even further, if the situation was reversed, I'd go to you before I'd go to Lily or Lo. It's just, I love it. Like, I love seeing all of the strides in their friendship, that not only are they able to at least get along, like they are still antagonistic with each other and that will never go away, but they do respect and trust each other and care for each other so much that Connor is so willing to his children's lives in Reich's hands, and that he's also very happy to take care of Reich's daughter, that this child in particular is like has zero relation to Connor at all, and is a child of Reich who is not necessarily someone that he's always gotten along with, and he's like, yeah, I'm so happy to take care of her. I love it.
I think it also really shows, like, okay, they may bicker all the time and they don't always get along the best, but they do really have, like their friendship has still really grown so much. And, like,
Yes.
he admits that, like, when Reich gets, like, emotional over having to ask him to, like, watch Sullivan because, like, he's sick now and Daisy's sick, Connor kind of admits, like, Reich's emotion affects him, and, like, that doesn't often happen. So for that to be, like, Reich getting emotional over, like, having to ask him to care for Sully, like, that affecting Connor is, like, big,
Yes.
you know? Because, like, that, he doesn't get emotional over a lot. And for
No.
someone's, like, emotions to affect him, he has to really, like, care for them. And that has to be someone that he has a strong relationship and, like, cares for a lot. So I think that that really shows too, like, how far they've come. It's like Reich's emotions over that were affecting him.
Yeah. And then the chapter ends with Lo asking Reich to, like, take care of him, because Lo is the one that was the original cause of all of the sickness. And he's like, can you get me a glass of milk and toast with butter and maybe some scrambled eggs? And Reich is just like, anything else, princess? Lo points patchwork quilt kicked at his ankles. Reich lifts it up to his shoulders, then carries the sick bin to the kitchen trash can. He never told Lo that he's sick too. He wouldn't, because Reich Meadows loves taking care of people. And then Lo mumbles as he, like, falls back asleep, and Lo mumbles one of the greatest truths of our lives, like, not just his life, of all of them. I have the best brother. I love it. You do, Lo. You have such a great big brother. So the next chapter, it is now March, and they are at the Avondale Hotel in New York City. And this is Daisy's point of view. And she is bringing these bags that are for Reich, Connor, and Lo. And we see her mention, like, the photographer suggested leaving the talent in a warm hotel room. So what's happening right now, that the guys are going to be modeling underwear. I think it's Callaway Couture.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember if she designed the line, but, like, Rose is involved in this, obviously. And it might be for charity. I think that was what it was. I can't remember. We'll find it eventually. But they're going to be modeling off this. They're going to be showing off these underwear styles. So the models are getting ready in a hotel room, and Rose and Lily are upstairs, like they're gonna do it up on the roof of this hotel. So Rose and Lily are upstairs outside getting things set up, and Daisy is delivering the outfits to the guys, and she comes in with, I come bearing gifts. Did you come with the gift of sight? Because my eye is burning. I brought the gift of underwear. Maybe you can fashion an eye patch. But Connor is like looking in Lo's eye. It's like I can so picture it, Connor being like so domineering of like tilting Lo's head back and looking in his eye to try and figure out what's irritating him. And meanwhile, Reich is on the floor doing crunches. Yes, sit-ups on the floor, and Daisy comes to stand over him. She's like, have you seen my husband? He's full wolf, broody, and he has a very large and Reich bites her ankle, and Lo says, the love of your life married Sasquatch. But we get some flirty racy where it's that typical flirty racy where Daisy's like, my husband's gonna be so jealous. I'm kissing another man. And Reich's just like, your husband's the luckiest fucking man. And Lo gets whatever it is, like whatever is in his eye. Connor gets it out. The guys are getting ready to get dressed. Reich's like, no, you need to stop flirting with me right now because I'm about to put on underwear and I can't get hard, please. I can't get hard right now, sweetheart. Men get erections? And then he throws the bag at, he throws his shopping bag. I catch it in my lap and toss it in the air. He loves me. He really, really loves me. It's just, I love their back and forth. I feel bad calling her a goof, but she is so goofy about it. And it's the cutest goof.
It's like, it's like the goofy, flirty banter. It's like so, I don't know.
It's so fun to read. So they're getting ready, obviously, I keep saying that, but they are getting ready. Daisy's like, do you want any modeling advice? And Reich's like, no, don't tell me any modeling. Like, I don't want you in any proximity to modeling. Even if it's like advice from your past, I don't want to hear it. And Daisy gets a text from the coordinator saying that there is a waxing kit and a razor and shaving cream for Reich so that they can shave around his underwear line. And she sees this just as Lo's like about to take a picture of Reich, and she's like, no, don't do that. And at first they worry, like, is Daisy afraid? Is she being thrown back and triggered by her own experiences of being objectified? Like, Reich is in his underwear now, and is Daisy just worried that Reich is going to feel objectified by like these photos? But it's actually that she is trying to make it that there won't be a big thing for Rose when Lo posts a picture. I love that she like automatically assumes that Lo's going to post this picture. Make sure that it's like available for the public, like publicly embarrass his brother over this. But the comparison of Reich being unshaven and then shaved for the actual photo shoot, like there will be the side-by-side comparison that she wants Rose to like, that they want to avoid. So it's Reich doesn't understand either. They're like, why do I have to wax? Like, what's wrong with my hairy legs? And Daisy's like, welcome to modeling.
Yeah. And he's just like, whatever. Nope, not doing it. They can Photoshop.
Yes, you can Photoshop. I'm okay with that. You have my full consent to do that. So they are getting in the elevator to head up to the roof. And Daisy's like, boys, this is the time to put your model faces on. Cry when they ask you to cry. Laugh when they ask you to laugh. Unless you have a nice photographer, then you can midway through. And do not whatsoever touch your hair. Reich touches his hair. He runs his hands through it and he gives me a look like, what are they gonna fucking do about it? I love him. Yeah, same, Daisy. I love him too. Yeah. And Connor's like, your directions are too complex for a third of this group. But the big thing is avoid an erection. Obviously, these guys are wearing underwear, so try and make sure that doesn't happen. And they talk about all of the ways that Lo is like, is Rose speaking? There's my automatic turn off. Sorry, Connor. And Daisy's like, the sound of Rose's voice turns you on. So cute. And she turns to Reich and is like, is Lily's voice still your turn off?
He's like, specifically Lily whining.
Yes. What does he call it? Like a panda or something? Like, yeah. No, a cluster. Her wine is like a cluster of koala bears, pandas, and chipmunks being killed. Christ. And then Lo says, I bet I can give you something that'll really turn you off. Lily's pregnant, and he's very clearly happy, very excited about this. And it's that he's telling them, and Lily's gonna tell Rose. But they're all very happy that the Hale family is expanding. I'm very happy too.
Yeah.
So they get to the roof and it is freezing. It's March in New York. That's cold. I've been to New York in March and it's fucking freezing.
It is still winter. I mean, it's technically not, but it's basically still winter.
Half of the month is still winter.
Yeah.
So they're freezing. They feel like they're literally freezing their balls off. They have a whole discussion of like shrinkage is a thing, and Connor's gonna give the whole scientific explanation for shrinkage. But they're all like, the guys are just like huddled and shivering, and it's so sweet. Like Lily's over on her phone Googling, how can you tell if someone has hypothermia? She's really concerned. And what does Daisy say? She's like, hey, just think, Lil, if it comes to it, you can use your body heat to warm him and have epic I'm keeping you alive sex. I can't have him keeping you alive sex if he's dead. Look alive, Lauren. Rose snaps. Lily's eyes widen like he's near death. He's totally alive. That's a classic Lauren Hale gaze with a classic Lauren Hale haircut and a classic Lauren Hale jawline. He flashes a half smile in our direction. Classic. And Reich is adjusting himself. The photographer's like, hands off, Reich. And that's when they have the shrinkage discussion. And Lo is, are there any photos where Lauren doesn't look like he's going to butcher everyone's family? Just yours. So the girls are gonna go sit with the guys, keep them warm, and it'll be like cute pictures of the wives with their husbands. And it's very sweet that like Lily obviously runs over to Lo. She's just very worried about his health, and Rose is like, fine, whatever, if I have to sit with Connor I can. But Reich is very much like, Daisy, if you don't want to have your pictures taken, if this at all feels like modeling to you and like brings you back to your modeling days, then no, don't come over here. Like, there is zero obligation for you to do this right now. And she does feel like this is her decision, and she doesn't feel strange or numb about it. It feels right because I'm not alone here. I'm with my sisters. I'm with him.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how like Reich throughout like kind of the whole everything, like he's so like he doesn't want her to feel like she's back in like the modeling space. Like even when she was like, you want advice? He was like, no, like don't be like, I don't want you talking about modeling and like going back there. But it's also like she even talks about like when Lily's like so concerned about like Lo like freezing, she's like, yeah, I was in this temperature like in a dress in the pool. Like, but I'm not gonna say that. Like, I don't need to like tell them that like I did that. And it's like, Daisy,
I know, you'd think that like the modeling life is so glamorous, and she very much like is aware that it was very much hard work and not a glamorous job that she had. And also when we were talking, I skipped over it, but like there was also the bit where she was talking about don't get an erection, and that there was a time when she had like when she had modeled that like another model had an erection, and like the photographer called it out and obviously embarrassed this guy, but he had an erection while he was standing near Daisy. Reich asks, are you okay? And she notes that it's not, are you okay? It's, are you okay still? Like, as you're relaying this, how are you feeling? He very much wants to be in tune with Daisy and make sure that she's constantly feels like she still has her voice, that she's not being forced into anything. And just like, he just continues to uplift her, and it's so sweet. You know, she's happy to do this. It's a very cute moment. And she sits down and she howls at him like she found her mate. She kisses her wolf. Okay. So we are going to end the part 2 discussion with this chapter, and we will pick back up and hopefully finish the 2019 and 2020 chapters in the next episode. So until then, continue to stay addicted to Krista and Becca's writing like us.